Is there anything better than getting up early and leaving for travel? Well, yes, actually there is. I hate getting up early and I hate traveling. But I love being other places, so there's really no way around it, and flying is quick. And I'm leaving for Lisbon. And this is my first time in both Lisbon and Portugal, so I'm actually pretty excited. And the first thing to strike me is how very authentic their old city is. On the one hand it looks old and run down, and on the other hand it's radiating charm. I've never seen another big city that still has this kind of authentic city center. But one thing you notice very quickly is that there is so many stairs everywhere. And when I did my research back home, I found that Lisbon actually has a lot of modern restaurants with a new take on things like fish foods, and I'm here to find some inspiration, so that's perfect for me. And this is one of the places I found while doing my research, and I'm having octopus with sweet potatoes. And that's actually a very nice dish. I'll make my own version in the end of this video. Twice a week there's a very famous market in Lisbon, and the wife, she loved that stuff, so she drags me along. I think it's the most boring thing in the world, and there's never anything to buy. Nothing. Stuffed teddy bears and cheap ceramics and cheesy homemade things, that's what you can find. That's not for me. But actually, I do need a sort of a fish plate, perhaps a smaller one too, so, well. Well, okay, this wasn't actually the worst market I've ever been to. But enough about who buys what, it's time for some culture. When I'm in other countries, I like visiting the religious sites, churches and monasteries and stuff like that. And especially when I'm in a Catholic country, I find it's interesting because those churches are very different than what I'm used to from a Protestant country. So that's fun to see. But I read somewhere that man does not live off of bread alone, so it's time to take a break after all those stairs in the city and just relax and enjoy. I think that's enough relaxation for one day, and I promised to show how to make the sweet potato and octopus recipe. First off, poke small holes in the skin of the sweet potato. Let them bake for about half an hour until they're soft when you stick them with a needle or a thin knife. And let's prep the octopus. These are the eyes. This is the head. Here's the eyes. We cut just below the eyes. Separate the head from the tentacles. Cut off the eyes. You can eat those, but you don't have to. Many people don't like it. Cut a very thin slice into the skin so we can get our fingers under it. And just peel. You have to use a little force, and if you have slippery fingers, then dip your fingers in a little salt. That'll make them stick better. But it's just this peeling and pulling and peeling and pulling. It takes some time, but it's really very simple. And this is what you get out of it. You don't use the skin. And it also has a beak we have to clean away. It has no bones because it's an octopus. The beak is in here. If we press there with a finger, it'll come out like that. And it's that little sharp thing here. We don't want that in our food. And that's it. A lot easier than a fish. Dip the tentacles into already boiling water. Lift them up and let them cool a bit. This should make the octopus less chewy. Do that 3 or 4 times. And you can feel how it starts to curl up in your fingers when you do it. Put it in the water and add the head. Then let it simmer for about 45 to 60 minutes. And you can press something into it. Thin knife or a meat needle. And it should feel tender. This is fine. After it has cooled off, I cut it into half, because I'm gonna make 2 portions of this octopus. I just separate all the tentacles at the base of the body. It's very easy to do. Then it's time to cut them into mouth sizes you can chew, you can fit in your mouth. It doesn't have to be very fine, it's just a salad. It's somewhat regular sizes, that's nice to have. And the head, this is the one you use to make calamari, but I don't want rings, so I cut it in half the long way first and then cut them into half moons. And that's it. The sweet potato has cooled, so it's time to peel. And that's very easy, the skin lets go. It slips right off. And these are somewhat on the soft side. They shouldn't have had as long, but they were very small and that cheated me a bit. Cut them into mouth bit sizes again, just like the octopus. These are so small, I just slice them in half and then into chunks. A larger sweet potato I will have divided into 4. The onion, remove the ends, peel them. Or peel it, we don't actually need that much onion. Cut it like this into as thin strips as absolutely possible and separate them. Drizzle them on the sweet potato so that every mouthful get a bit of onion. Add the octopus. The lemon, I don't cut this in half, I cut it just above the beside the middle. That way it's easier to squeeze out the lemon juice. Then I add some oil, a good olive oil, and lots of it. Some of the lemon juice. Salt, and I use flaky salt for this, and lots of pepper. And it's done and ready to eat. So enjoy! And you can find the list of ingredients and the recipe on kvalifood.